guys, my name is Elise and welcome back to another week with the Foundry Kids, and welcome to week 3 of our November series called Stand. In this series, we are talking about why we can be brave, and we can be brave because God is always with us. So I want you guys to remember that God is always with us. And of course, that is what we're talking about today. We're talking about a time that someone in the Bible was in a very scary situation, and he was very brave about it. So before we start our lesson today, we're going to stand up and sing a song.
I wanna be strong and brave. I don't wanna be afraid. So I will not give up hope now. I'm not alone. I know. Let go of all my doubts. I'm not gonna turn around. 'Cause now my eyes are seeing now a clearer view. If I stand with you and you stand with me, we could be brave. If I stand with you and you stand with me, we could be brave. I can push the fear aside. I wanna do what's right. I'm not giving up, giving up. I can push the fear aside. I wanna do what's right. I'm not giving up, giving up. No. I wanna be strong and brave. I don't wanna be afraid. So I will not give up hope now. I'm not alone. I know. Let go of all my doubts. I'm not gonna turn around. 'Cause now my eyes are seeing now a clearer view. If I stand with you and you stand with me, we could be brave. If I stand with you and you stand with me, we could be brave. I can push the fear aside. I wanna do what's right. I'm not giving up, giving up. I can push the fear aside. I wanna do what's right. I'm not giving up, giving up. No. I know I'm strong. I believe in me. You know you're strong. I believe in you. I know I'm strong. I believe in me. You know you're strong. We can be brave together. I know. I can push the fear aside. I wanna do what's right. I'm not giving up, giving up. I can push the fear aside. I wanna do what's right. I'm not giving up, giving up.
Today, our Bible story comes from the book of Daniel, which is a book in the Old Testament of the Bible. And we are talking about a time where a guy named Daniel, the book is about him, was in a scary situation. He was actually put into a lion's den, so like the lions were supposed to eat him because he was praying to God. And I don't know about you guys, but that sounds really scary to me. But we're gonna learn about how God was with him and he was okay in the end.
It's time for...
The story before the story.
Today we're in book 27 of the Old Testament, Daniel.
God had promised to bless the whole world through Abraham's family, the Israelites. God delivered them from slavery and led them to freedom in the land of Canaan.
God gave the Israelites kings to lead them, but while some kings like David listened to God, many of the kings ignored God.
These kings even led the people to worship false gods. And at last, God allowed the Israelites to be conquered by foreign nations.
Yeah, some of the Israelites were even marched off as captives to Babylon.
But one of these captives, a man named Daniel, still loved God and prayed to God every day. And Daniel is a hero of today's story.
Let's go!
Daniel was taken to Babylon as a young man, but even as a captive, he still stood up for the one true God.
We won't make ourselves unclean by eating the king's food. Test us for 10 days. Give us only vegetables to eat.
God blessed Daniel and made him strong and wise. That wisdom and courage gained Daniel a lot of respect, and he actually served as an advisor to several foreign kings over his lifetime. One of them was King Darius, who conquered Babylon. Now, when King Darius took charge, he placed 120 officials over the whole kingdom and put 3 governors over them. One of these 3 men was Daniel. Daniel was so trustworthy and did such a good job that Darius actually made plans to put Daniel in charge of the other 2 governors. So when these other 2 rulers found out about the plan, they were pretty angry. They decided to find something wrong with Daniel they could tell the king about. But even though they spied on Daniel, they couldn't find a thing he'd done wrong.
Not one single lie!
But Daniel does have this thing about praying to his God.
3 times a day like clockwork.
The jealous governors and officials perfected a sneaky plan and took it to King Darius.
King Darius, may you live forever.
You're so incredibly amazing. We think you should make a special command. What is it?
For the next 30 days, no one in the whole kingdom can pray to anyone but you.
I like it. And if they pray to someone else, they get thrown into a lion's den. Where do I sign?
Oh, well, King Darius was so flattered that he gave orders for the law to be written down, and he signed it at once. And you have to know this. Once a law of the Medes and Persians was written down, it could not be changed, even by the king himself. When Daniel found out about the law, it would have been easy enough to change his routine and stop going home to pray every day. But Daniel's love for God was greater than his fear of lions. The next morning, as every morning, Daniel knelt in his room and prayed to God.
Thank you that you are always with me, God. Help me honor you in everything I do.
Daniel went to his room to pray again at noon and in the evening, even though he probably knew the other officials were watching him. And sure enough, they were delighted to find Daniel disobeying the king's law. Oh, they rushed after the king as fast as they could.
King Darius, didn't you sign an order that for 30 days no one can pray to anyone but you?
Huh? Oh, I did. Or they'd be thrown into a lion's den. Well, no one would risk it.
Except Daniel.
He still prays to his God 3 times every day.
When Darius realized he'd been trapped, he was very upset. He didn't want Daniel to be harmed, but even he couldn't find a way around the law. So at sunset, the king called for Daniel to be brought out and thrown in the lion's den.
Daniel, you always serve your God faithfully, so may he save you.
Then Daniel was shoved into the dark den, and a stone was placed over the entrance. Now, we don't know exactly what Daniel felt alone in that deep, dark place with prowling lions. But in the palace, the king was so sick with fear he couldn't sleep. As soon as the sun rose, he hurried back to the lion's den.
Daniel, you serve the living God. Has he been able to save you from the lion?
Morning sunlight revealed Daniel, with the powerful lions curled up around him, tame as house cats.
My God sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lions. They haven't hurt me at all.
Oh, lift him out of the den at once.
Daniel was completely unharmed. The king was so amazed that he wrote a letter to everyone in the kingdom.
I order people in every part of my kingdom to respect and honor Daniel's God. He is the living God. He has saved Daniel from the power of the lions.
Daniel continued to serve the king, and because of Daniel's courage, every person in the land heard about the one true God. The end.
A whole den full of lions. Daniel must have been so scared.
Oh, for sure, but he could look back on the times that God had helped him. He trusted God to be with him no matter what.
So, what's our part in this story?
Well, okay, maybe your mom told you to take the trash to the curb hours ago, but you forgot and now it's dark. It might be tempting to just skip it, but you can trust God to be with you while you do it.
Or maybe you have to give a book report in front of the whole class and it's your first time, so you're super nervous.
It would be easy to just tell the teacher you lost your voice and can't quite do it.
Yeah, but truth is, you can trust that God is with you even in front of the class.
Yeah, God knows we all struggle with fear sometimes. That's one of the reasons God gave us Jesus. When we believe in Jesus and follow him, we have God's Spirit to help us face anything that comes our way, from a book report to a barking dog to a mean kid.
I think we've got it.
Thank you, Brian.
See you next time.
Daniel was in a very scary situation, but Daniel knew that if he stood up for what was right, if he stood up for God, that God would always be there for him, and God was there for him. Daniel ended up being okay, and he actually ended up teaching a bunch of people about God. So that's really cool. And hopefully you guys are never in a situation that would be dangerous or anything like that because you're standing up for God. But even if something isn't super dangerous because you're standing up for God, you can still be brave when you're doing the right thing. Because remember, God will always be there with you, especially if you're doing the right thing. And that brings us to our memory verse for the month. Now remember, we've got one more week left for our memory verse, so hopefully you guys are memorizing it. But if you don't remember it, that's okay. We're going to say it one more time. It's Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. That is our memory verse, Joshua 1:9, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is gonna be in between this week and next week, and I can't wait to see you later. Okay, bye.